Ladies, let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered why some relationships feel like a constant chase while others just fizzle out too quickly? What makes a man not only desire you in the beginning, but stay deeply in love for the long run? It all comes down to one powerful boundary. And when you set this boundary, it shifts everything in the dynamic between you and a man. It's the line that separates a fleeting romance from a lasting love story. That boundary is self-respect. Now, I'm not talking about arrogance or pretending you don't care. I'm talking about a woman who values herself so much that she will not settle for less than she deserves. A woman who shows up with warmth, kindness, and openness, but also with standards. Here's the truth: attraction may spark a man's interest, but his boundaries that keep his respect. And without respect, there can never be real love. When you set this one boundary, I will not give my time, energy, or body to someone who does not value me. You create a dynamic where a man must rise to meet you. He knows you're not here to play games, but you also won't lower your standards just to keep him. And guess what? That's the exact quality that makes men fall in love forever. Because deep down, every man wants to feel that the woman he is with chose him not out of need, not out of fear, but out of pure desire, and because he earned her place in her life. So let's break down how this boundary looks in action and why it works every single time. Self-respect is the foundation of lasting love. When you know your worth, you naturally create an invisible line around yourself that protects your energy, your heart, and your time. This boundary tells the world, I value myself enough not to accept less than I deserve. And the truth is, men are deeply drawn to women who live by this principle. It's not about being hard to get, it's about being worth getting. Think about it this way: if you treat yourself as someone valuable, others will follow your lead. If you allow disrespect, inconsistency, or half effort, you're silently teaching him that it's okay to treat you that way. But when you hold yourself to a higher standard, you set the tone for how he must show up in your life. A man might be attracted to beauty, charm, or chemistry at first, but respect is what makes him stay and invest his heart. Now, many women fear that setting boundaries will push a man away. But here's the truth: the wrong man will be pushed away, and that's a blessing. The right man won't run from your self-respect. He'll be magnetized by it. Men love to feel like they are with a woman who knows her value. It challenges them, it excites them, and it makes them step up in ways they never would for someone who doesn't demand that level of respect. Self-respect also means you're not available for toxic dynamics. You don't chase someone who's pulling away. You don't beg for attention, and you don't tolerate hot and cold treatment. Instead, you calmly and gracefully remove yourself from situations that diminish your worth. And that calmness is powerful. It's not about drama, it's about dignity. When you embody self-respect, you also become more selective. You stop trying to win over every man's approval and focus only on the one who truly meets your standards. This makes your love rare, and rarity creates value. A man falls deeper in love when he knows your affection isn't something handed out freely. It's something he must earn through consistency, care, and effort. Finally, self-respect shows up in the little things: how you let him speak to you, how you respond to broken promises, and how you prioritize your own needs. Every small choice adds up to a bigger message. I love myself enough to only accept love that honors me. And when a man sees that, he doesn't just admire you, he feels lucky to have you. That feeling of earning you is exactly what makes him fall in love forever. There is a huge difference between being with someone because you want them and being with someone because you need them. When you enter a relationship from a place of need, the energy feels heavy, desperate, and suffocating. But when you choose to be with a man because you truly desire him, not because you fear being alone, you create a dynamic that is magnetic. A man doesn't fall in love when he feels like he's filling a void. He falls in love when he knows he is wanted, not needed. Needing someone for your happiness puts unfair pressure on the relationship. It sends the message that without him you are incomplete. And that's not attractive, it's overwhelming. On the other hand, desire says, I'm already whole, I'm already fulfilled, but I choose to share my life with you because I enjoy you. That distinction changes everything. When a man feels like your addition, not your oxygen, he respects you more and cherishes you deeply. When you don't need him for validation, you also avoid losing yourself in the relationship. Many women give up their hobbies, friendships, and passions as soon as they start dating someone, but that sends the signal that their identity revolves around him. True desire means you still prioritize your own life, and that independence makes you more attractive. A man falls in love with a woman who has a life of her own, because being part of her world feels like a privilege, not a responsibility. Men are wired to seek purpose and contribution. When you need him in order to feel worthy, you rob him of the chance to show up by choice. But when you don't need him, he gets to pursue you, impress you, and contribute to your happiness in ways that feel genuine. That's what keeps him engaged and invested. He wants to feel like his efforts matter, not like they're the bare minimum to keep you from falling apart. Desire also creates space for balance. When you're not clinging to him out of need, you're able to give him freedom without fear. That freedom makes the relationship stronger because he doesn't feel trapped. He feels chosen. And when a man feels chosen, his commitment grows naturally. He begins to see you not just as a partner, but as the one person he wants to earn over and over again for the rest of his life. At the heart of it, desire communicates strength while need communicates weakness. When you say, I don't need you to complete me, but I want you to share this journey with me, you are speaking from a place of power. That kind of love is pure, confident, and irresistible. It makes a man not only fall for you, but respect you in a way that keeps his love alive long after the initial spark. One of the most powerful boundaries you can set in love is this: you don't just listen to what a man says, you pay attention to what he does. Words can be beautiful, sweet, and even persuasive, but they mean very little without consistent action behind them. A man can promise you the world, but if his actions don't align with those promises, it's just noise. Real love is built on what he shows you, not what he tells you. Many women fall into the trap of being swept away by romantic words. A man says, I miss you, or I want something serious, and immediately hope takes over. But here's the truth: consistency is the truest form of commitment. If he says he misses you, but never makes the effort to see you, if he says he wants a future, but doesn't take steps toward building it, then his words are hollow. Your boundary should be clear. You only invest in someone who consistently shows up. Consistency builds trust. Think about it. Anyone can be charming for a week, even a month, but when a man continues to show effort, continues to prioritize you, continues to be there even when it's inconvenient, that's when you know his feelings are real. And by setting the boundary that actions matter more than words, you protect yourself from falling for empty promises. You give your heart only to someone who earns it over time. When you prioritize consistency, you also send a strong message about your standards. You're saying, I won't be impressed by one good date, one kind gesture, or one compliment. I'm looking for steady effort. This not only filters out the wrong men, but also inspires the right man to step up. Because men know when a woman won't settle for crumbs. They sense that she values quality over quantity. And that makes them work harder to prove their love. Another thing about consistency is that it reveals character. Anyone can act interested in the beginning, but true character shows up in follow through. Does he call when he says he will? Does he keep his word when he makes plans? Does he respect your time and energy consistently, not just when it's convenient for him? These small patterns paint a big picture of whether he's capable of building lasting love. So make it your boundary. You don't chase words, you reward actions. You don't fall in love with potential, you fall in love with consistency. When you live by that standard, you not only protect your heart, but also create a relationship where love isn't built on wishful thinking. It's built on daily proof that he is exactly who he claims to be. Being available to a man is important. You want to show warmth, kindness, and openness. But here's the catch: being too available without any standards can make you seem like your time and attention have no value. A man should feel that your presence is special, not something he can take for granted. The boundary here is clear. You give your energy generously, but not endlessly. You balance availability with discernment. Many women fall into the habit of dropping everything the moment he calls or texts. At first, it feels exciting, like you're proving your interest, but over time, this creates an imbalance. He begins to assume that no matter how little effort he puts in, you'll always be there. And when something is too easy, it loses its value. By having standards for how and when you give your time, you keep the relationship balanced. And that balance is what keeps attraction alive. Being available with standards also protects you from becoming an emotional safety net. If he only reaches out when he's bored, lonely, or needs validation, you risk being treated like a backup plan instead of a priority. By setting the boundary that your time is valuable, you teach him that he must come to you with intention, not just convenience. That way, his interactions with you are meaningful, not casual. This doesn't mean playing games or acting cold. It means showing him that while you are caring and open, you also have a life filled with purpose, passions, and priorities. When you say, "I'd love to see you, but I already have plans tonight. Let's find another day," you communicate two powerful messages. One, that you're genuinely interested, and two, that your world doesn't revolve around him. That independence is deeply attractive. The truth is, men respect what they have to earn. When you balance availability with standards, you create a sense of value around your time. He begins to see that your love, your attention, and even your presence are gifts, not obligations. And the more he feels he has to work for them, the more he appreciates them when he receives them. That appreciation is what keeps love alive long after the honeymoon phase fades. So, being available isn't about being constantly accessible. It's about being present in the right way at the right time with the right boundaries. It's about showing him you are willing to connect, but only within the framework of respect and effort. And that balance, warmth paired with standards, is what makes a man not only want you but value you for the long run. Physical boundaries are one of the clearest ways to communicate your self-worth in a relationship. When you don't rush into intimacy, you send a powerful message. My body and my heart are valuable, and they are not given lightly. This doesn't mean withholding affection or being distant. It simply means choosing the right timing. A man who respects you will wait, and in waiting, his respect will only deepen. When intimacy happens too quickly, it can sometimes blur the line between lust and love. Chemistry may spark, but without emotional foundation, it risks fizzling out just as fast. By setting physical boundaries, you create space for something deeper to grow. You invite him to connect with your mind, your personality, and your soul first. That kind of connection is what makes love last long after the initial attraction fades. Boundaries also reveal his intentions. If a man loses interest because you're not rushing into intimacy, he was never there for love. He was there for convenience. And isn't that better to find out early on? The right man will not only respect your pace, he will admire it. He will see that you are a woman who values herself too much to settle for surface-level connection. That admiration strengthens the bond instead of weakening it. Physical boundaries also protect you emotionally. Intimacy can create a powerful attachment, and when it happens before trust is established, it can leave you vulnerable to disappointment or hurt. By holding back until you feel secure in his intentions, you give yourself the chance to evaluate whether this relationship truly has long-term potential. Protecting your heart in this way isn't just smart, it's self-love in action. Another benefit of physical boundaries is that they increase his investment. When he knows he has to earn your trust and your closeness, he puts in more effort to win you over. He takes you on dates, he listens, he learns about your world, and he works to impress you. That effort creates memories, connection, and emotional intimacy, all of which make physical closeness far more meaningful when it does happen. Finally, physical boundaries make intimacy more powerful. Instead of it being just another step in dating, it becomes a milestone that carries weight. It's a moment that says, I trust you, I choose you, and I feel safe with you. That depth is what makes a man value the relationship on a whole new level. It's not about withholding, it's about honoring yourself and ensuring that intimacy is shared in a way that strengthens love, not weakens it. One of the most important boundaries in love is refusing to reward the bare minimum. Many women unknowingly give men maximum effort in exchange for the smallest gestures, and that sets a dangerous pattern. If a man realizes he can give you the least and still get the best of you, why would he ever step up? Relationships thrive when effort is matched, and your boundary should be crystal clear. You don't celebrate crumbs. You expect consistency, care, and follow through. The bare minimum often hides under sweet words or occasional gestures. He may text once in a while, call only when it's convenient, or show up just enough to keep you interested. At first, it might feel like something, but over time, you notice that his actions don't really align with a man who is fully invested. When you reward that behavior with your time, affection, or loyalty, you send the message that this is enough. And once that standard is set, it becomes very hard to raise. By refusing to reward the bare minimum, you train him, consciously or unconsciously, that effort matters. You show him that you notice when he goes above and beyond, and you also notice when he's falling short. Men actually rise to the standard you hold them to. If you demand nothing, you'll get nothing. But if you lovingly yet firmly require consistency, he will either step up or step out, and both outcomes are in your favor, because you either get the love you deserve or the clarity to move on. Not rewarding the bare minimum doesn't mean being cold or dismissive. It means aligning your responses with his effort. If he puts in effort, you meet it with appreciation and warmth. If he doesn't, you don't overcompensate by chasing, fixing, or making excuses. This balanced energy communicates that your time and affection are precious and they are reserved for someone who truly earns them. That in itself makes you far more attractive. It's also about emotional self-control. Sometimes the temptation to overlook small effort comes from fear of losing him, fear of being alone, or fear that you won't find someone better. But when you lower your standards, you lower the quality of love you allow into your life. By standing firm and not rewarding crumbs, you protect your heart from relationships that drain you instead of fulfilling you. That courage makes you magnetic because confidence is irresistible. And here's the beautiful part: the right man won't feel threatened by this boundary. He'll appreciate it. A man who truly cares wants to give more than the bare minimum. He wants to see you smile. He wants to contribute to your happiness. And he wants to feel like he is an active part of your life. When you hold the standard high, you invite him to step into his best self. And that's what creates the kind of love that lasts. Clear communication is one of the most underrated boundaries in love. Many women assume that if a man really cares, he should just know what they want. But men are not mind readers, and leaving everything unspoken often leads to misunderstandings, resentment, or unmet expectations. Communicating with clarity is about expressing your needs, desires, and limits in a calm, confident way. It's not about controlling him. It's about giving the relationship a chance to thrive on honesty. When you don't communicate clearly, you leave too much room for guessing. He may think you're okay with his behavior when you're not, or he may not realize that something truly matters to you. Silence is often misinterpreted as acceptance. That's why clarity is powerful. It draws the line in a way that's respectful but firm. Instead of hoping he figures it out, you give him the chance to rise to the standard you've expressed. The key is how you communicate. Clarity isn't about anger, ultimatums, or guilt. It's about calm confidence. For example, saying, "I value consistency, and it's important to me that someone follows through when they say they will," is far more effective than yelling, "You never keep your word." Clear, respectful communication creates space for growth instead of defensiveness. And a man who truly values you will appreciate the guidance. Communicating with clarity also protects your self-respect. When you say what you need, you show that your voice matters. You're not afraid of being too much or too demanding. You trust that the right man will want to meet you where you are. This confidence makes you even more attractive because it shows emotional maturity. Men respect a woman who can articulate her needs instead of burying them. Another benefit of clear communication is that it weeds out the wrong men. If you calmly express what matters to you and he dismisses it, ignores it, or mocks it, you immediately know where he stands. This saves you from wasting energy on someone unwilling to invest in real connection. On the other hand, if he listens, adjusts, and makes an effort, you know he's serious about building something meaningful with you. Finally, clarity strengthens trust. When you both feel safe enough to express yourselves openly, the relationship deepens. Misunderstandings decrease, respect increases, and intimacy becomes richer. Love isn't just about passion, it's about partnership. And true partnership can only exist when both people are willing to communicate with honesty and clarity. One of the strongest boundaries a woman can set is the willingness to walk away when her standards are not being met. This doesn't mean giving up easily. It means knowing when to protect your dignity and energy. Love requires effort from both sides, and if a man repeatedly shows you that he won't respect your needs or invest in the relationship, your ability to leave becomes the ultimate demonstration of self-respect. Walking away is powerful because it shows that you are not afraid of being alone. Many people stay in situations that drain them simply out of fear. Fear of starting over, fear of loneliness, or fear of not finding someone better. But when you stay in a relationship that isn't honoring you, you block yourself from the love you actually deserve. The courage to leave communicates, I will not trade my peace for someone else's comfort. This boundary also teaches men how serious you are about your standards. A man may test your limits, consciously or unconsciously, to see how much you're willing to tolerate. If you stay no matter what, he learns that he doesn't need to change. But if you're willing to walk away, you create a wake-up call. Either he rises to meet your value, or he loses you. And that realization can inspire real change. If he truly cares, walking away isn't about punishing him. It's about protecting you. It's about recognizing that love should never come at the cost of your self-worth. When you leave situations that no longer serve you, you send a message to yourself that you matter. That kind of strength not only builds confidence, but also makes you magnetic. Because nothing is more attractive than a woman who refuses to settle for less than she deserves. Sometimes walking away is the only way to see the truth. When you pull back, you find out quickly whether he is willing to fight for you or let you go. His response reveals everything about his intentions. If he steps up, it means your boundary inspired growth. If he doesn't, it means he was never truly invested. And either way, you gain clarity instead of wasting months or years on uncertainty. And here's the beauty of this boundary, even if it hurts in the moment. Walking away opens the door to something better. It may be the very thing that clears space for the right person to come into your life. By leaving behind what doesn't align with your worth, you position yourself to receive the kind of love that not only excites you in the beginning, but nourishes you for a lifetime.